Hello, hello! I found so many hidden treasures during my recent makeup organization. So today we are going to play with some of the forgotten makeup that I rediscovered to create this fall-inspired makeup look. I feel like I have brand new makeup. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing so many lovely comments. I really enjoyed reading about your fall favorites. And I will announce the winners of the 3 Sigma eyeshadow palettes at the end of this video. As always, I will include timestamps, product links, as well as lots of other information in the description box below. So if you are excited to see how I achieved this fall-inspired makeup look, full face of nothing new, throw this video a thumbs up and let's jump right into it. All right, let's get some fall-inspired makeup on. It was 40 degrees when I woke up this morning, so I pulled out my cashmere sweater and we are going to play with some greenish eyeshadow today. First things first, my Pixie Peach Corrector with my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. This fits perfectly into that very deep, very dark inner corner. Super soft as well. And just take a little bit on that sort of dark purple area. Take my finger and press it in. For foundation, we are going to be using the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. I had a heck of a time finding a color match in this. I actually purchased 4 colors. I gave 1 to my cousin and I kept 2. 180 is a pretty good match for me. You can see it's a little bit runny and a little bit thick, but it is a little bit light. So I am going to mix in just a tad of 190. For application, I'm going to use the BK Beauty 106 foundation brush. I have found the brush is the best application for me. I'm going to work one section of my face at a time because this does tend to set down and thicken up pretty quickly. So we're going to use the brush and do one part of my face at a time. I am trying to apply a pretty light layer. This is a solid medium coverage and I really prefer more of a light medium coverage. So I am trying to apply it pretty lightly. And I'm really just sort of stippling it on. I'm going to do 1/2 of my face so you can see the coverage. And then I'm going to take a damp beauty blender. This is the e.l.f. concealer sponge. And make sure it is pressed into the skin. Foundation. No foundation. I am adding a little bit more foundation because the brush does eat the foundation up. So I'm just adding a little more and we will get this side of the face done. Okay, foundation done. I'm also going to use the Kosas Revealer Concealer. This is one of my favorite concealers. I've had it about a year. I have it in the shade 2.5. However, it is clean beauty. There are no preservatives and I am noticing the scent is leaning a little bit more towards almost like a paint-like smell. So I really want to use this up before it goes completely bad. And I'm just going to use this pretty lightly. Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush, just pat it in and buff the edges there. Always finish with my finger, just to make sure it is pressed in. Usually I just use concealer on my eyelids sort of as an eyeshadow primer, but I do have 2 eyeshadow primers that I want to play with today. One is the MAC Paint Pot. I picked this up 6 months ago during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, then completely forgot about it until I did my recent makeup organization. So I'm going to put this MAC Paint Pot on one eye, and I'm going to use my Real Techniques, what is this? Instapop eyeshadow brush. And I'll just pat that onto my eyelid. You know, this does have a tint, and that is one of the things I really want an eyelid primer, eyeshadow primer to do, is to sort of neutralize the color, the discoloration, the darkness on my eyelid. And then I'll just sort of pat that in with my finger. Sigma sent me their eyeshadow primer in PR, and this is a crayon and it is tinted. So I am going to apply that to this eye. Sort of swipe it on. Again, you can see that sort of a nude color. And I'm wiping that brush off. And I'll just pat that on as well. And use my finger to press it in. Now the MAC Paint Pot has a little bit of a drier consistency, and the Sigma feels just a little bit more slippy, moisturizing. Now I am going to powder the eyelid primer with the Physician Formula Butter Believe It Translucent Setting Powder. I just don't like applying eyeshadow to a sticky surface. I think it makes it a little bit more difficult to blend. I'm going to use the Angie Hot and Flashy Fluffy Blending Brush and just sort of dust that on very lightly, just so it's not sticky. I'm also going to very, very lightly set the rest of my face with the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It using the e.l.f. blush brush, just touching that in. And I'm just touching under my eyes. I don't always set under my eyes. In fact, many times I don't. But because we're using some deeper eyeshadow shades today, I want to make sure that it's not at all tacky under my eyes. And just do a light set on the T-zone. I really don't feel like this foundation needs setting. Just a little bit of bronzer. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Bronzer. I think this is the second to the lightest shade, using my Angie Hot and Flashy Angled Blush Brush. And I am just going to very, very, very lightly give my face a little bit of shape. I am not trying to look sun-kissed. I am just trying to make sure that my face doesn't have sort of a mask-like foundation appearance, just where the sun would touch my face. And while we're at it, I'm also going to use just a little bit of this in the transition zone, because the eyeshadow palette I'm going to use today doesn't really have a super light transition color. So I'm just going to use a little bit of bronzer very lightly in the transition area. Now for the fun part, eyeshadow. We're going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills NOUVEAU eyeshadow palette. So pretty. I was really inspired by the greens and the bronzes. This just screams fall to me. Even though it came out last spring, and I do think you can use it all year round, I was really inspired by these sort of warm bronzes and greens. So I'm wearing a green sweater. You know, fall, there's so many rusts and berries, and I just don't really love warm colors on me. So this, I'm hoping, is my version of fall, sort of a warm green fall look. So let's have a little fun with this. For today's look, we are going to use this mid-tone peachy brown called Floor, this green bronzy shimmer called Hope, this bronzy shade called Belle, and I don't even know how to describe this, sort of silvery green called Wings. Really, really, really pretty. I'm going to use my rougher 15 to go into Floor. This is a little bit of a warmer color than I normally prefer, but it is autumn, and let's just see how it looks. Just sort of into the transition area there. These are dustier eyeshadows. You do need to tap your brush off, but they do blend really nicely. I was really afraid to use this sort of greeny brown matte on the transition area because I thought it would be a little bit too deep. So I am going to take a very small rougher 13 brush and just barely touch it in there. And I am going to use this to deepen up the crease and the outer corner. And then I'm going to sort of blend that into the transition area. Outer corner, just deep into the socket line there for some depth. Using a Sigma E55 flat shader brush, I am going to pick up a little bit of that green shimmer called Hope, and I'm going to apply this to the outer half of my eyelid. This shadow brush really fits my eyelid very, very nicely. That is such a pretty color. And look at that sheen it offers. Cleaning off my Sigma E55 with this Sigma switch. Oh my gosh, this is a life-changing thing. For years and years and years, I would use a paper towel or a terry cloth towel, and that does work. But this really, really, really takes the pigment out of the brush so that you can go in between colors. Same brush, all cleaned off, E55, and I'm going to go into this bronzy shade called Belle. And I'm going to apply this sort of on the center of the lid. Super pretty. You know, you can apply these with your fingers too. You will get a little bit more sheen with your fingers. I don't really want that much sheen, and my fingers are really big and my nails are a little bit on the long side right now, so I really, really do enjoy using a brush. And these flat shader brushes do a nice job of retaining some of the sheen as well. Now I could have put that bronzy shade all the way to the inner corner, but I really wanted to play with this shade here. And because I want it just on the inner third, I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush. This is the rougher 28 flat shader brush, and it is a little bit smaller, so it should fit in that inner corner a little bit more easily. That is really, really pretty. Let's do this side. I'm really just patting it in place. I'm really not sweeping or swiping. Now I feel like I need to deepen up that outer corner a little bit more with a little bit more of that deeper green shade. So let me find my Sigma brush, pick up a little bit more of that deeper green, and just make sure I have that outer half of the eyelid well covered with that deeper forest green shade. That is some green eyeshadow. So far I'm really liking it, but I'm anxious to see how it looks once I get the rest of my makeup done. So I am going to go off camera, do my liner, lashes, and brows, and we will come back and finish up with blush and lipstick. Be right back. All right, liner, mascara, brows are done. And here is the finished eye look. I haven't worn this much eyeshadow all summer long. It's sort of fun to play with some a little bit deeper, more intense fall colors. Let's finish the makeup up. I'm using Kjaer Weis Cream Blush in the shade Blossoming. I have been using this all summer long. I really wanted to use a soft, sort of a little bit more warm tone for this fall look. So I am just going to apply this with my fingers. I think this will look really nice with this eyeshadow. Do you see how easily that blends? I am just applying a small amount at a time, however, building it up slowly. And then I'm just going to take my sponge and make sure the edges are nicely blended. There is the blush, Kjaer Weis Cream Blush in the shade Blossoming. Last, but absolutely not least, is lips. I'm going to line my lips with a little Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. This is a mini. It is a really nice lip liner. I'm trying to decide between 3 lip colors. This is Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I have it in a mini. This is Revlon Rum Raisin. This is a little bit more of a sheer glossy formula. And this is Lisa Eldridge Painterly. I think I'm going to go with the Charlotte Tilbury, mostly because it is a little bit warmer than these other 2 shades, and it is a really nice sort of warm neutral nude. Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I have a mini, and I'm going to apply it pretty lightly because I don't want too strong of a lip with this pretty strong eye look. I feel like this lip color is just a little bit deeper than what I was looking for with this pretty intense eye look. So I'm going to apply a little bit of Tarte Juicy Lip in the shade Rose. There is the shade Rose right there. It's just a really soft, nudie pink, glossy balm, glossy sheer balm. And let's see if a touch of this won't bring the intensity of this lipstick down just a little bit. All right, so here is the completed look. I think it turned out really pretty. It's really fun to be wearing makeup again. All summer long, I relied on tinted moisturizers, really light natural makeup, so it's really fun to play with a little bit more intense color on the eyes, get some perfecting foundation on. I think the foundation looks really pretty. I love the radiance, I love the level of coverage. I'm really liking it. All right, thank you once again for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed the video and this fall-inspired makeup look. I had a lot of fun creating it. And I am super, super excited to announce the 3 winners from last week's Sigma eyeshadow palette giveaway. And the 3 winners are Debbie Ritchie, Connie Raynor, and Michelle Krim. So congratulations to the 3 winners. If I called your name, all you have to do is email me your shipping information. You will find my email at the bottom of this and literally every single description box. I'll probably also put it up on the screen here. Anyway, please email me your shipping information no later than Wednesday, September 28th. And with all that being said, I hope everybody has a beautiful day and a wonderful week. I look forward to visiting with you in the comments section, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.